Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. Thank you so much for your responses. You have reached out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and on the comments of this video. I really love it when you guys do that. Today we will be discussing top interview questions if you are applying for a programmatic role. These are the must ask questions that interviewers will ask you. So we will prepare these questions quickly. Let's get into the video right away. Today's video is going to be about cracking your programmatic interview. These are the top 12 interview questions for analyst, trader, and account manager roles. We'll get into them. What we will be covering today would be these 12 must know question answers. The first is, what is programmatic ecosystem? Difference between Google Ads and DV360. How do you optimize the campaigns? What is spend or conversions or ROAS? What are the KPIs by campaign goals? What are floodlight tags versus UTMs, campaign troubleshooting, real-time bidding, first versus third-party data, open exchange versus PMP versus PG, and then in the end we'll discuss about brand safety and viewability. These are real questions hiring managers actually ask. I have given multiple interviews for companies like Meta, Google, Havas, Publicis, and I've always been asked these questions. So these are must know questions and answers. Let's start preparing them. Okay, what explain the programmatic advertising ecosystem? Guys, this is going to be the first question that you will be asked when you are applying for programmatic roles, because the hiring person wants to know that you are aware of the ecosystem that we are talking about. We will talk about the three major players first when giving the answers. You can say there are three major players, which is DSP or demand side platform. It's the tool advertisers use to buy ad inventory automatically. Second is SSP. SSP is a supply side platform. It's a tool publishers use to sell and manage their ad space. Then Ad Exchange. Ad Exchange, for example, Google AdX. It's a marketplace connecting DSPs and SSPs in real-time basis. And the flow goes something like this. User visits a website, publisher offers ad space, SSPs send the ad request, DSPs check audience and bid, and this auction happens within 200 milliseconds. Winning ad appears on the page. Now this is the most asked question. Memorize the flow, practice saying it out loud. And for the flow of this particular ecosystem, I have prepared this image. You can see this image. It's even better to understand. You can take a screenshot of this particular image. I'll zoom it in a bit. See. So that's how programmatic advertising ecosystem works. You can take a screenshot right now. All right, let's discuss this now. So this is in simple terms how ecosystem for programmatic works. You can explain it word to word to your person who is taking your interview. You can say a person visits a website, okay? Then there is an empty ad space on a website. Whenever you visit a website, you see an empty ad space, right? So the publisher or the owner of that website has empty ad space. Now because he has already registered with some sort of supply side platform, this supply side platform, publisher's platform, send ad space available for sale. So this person who owns the website, he has mentioned to SSP that I have some space available on my website. You can show some ads there so that I can also earn some money. This SSP knows that this particular website has some ad space available. Now comes the next player, okay, which is an ad exchange. What an ad exchange or a marketplace does is, the ad space info goes to ad exchange where many buyers are competing. Now there is a demand side platform here. Okay, this is a demand side platform, this is a supply side platform, and in between these two platforms is a ad exchange. Supply side platform told that I have a website which has empty ad space, okay. Demand side platform told to ad exchange that I have some advertisers who want to show their ads on a particular website which has certain number of users. Now this ad exchange show this particular empty space to this DSP, and DSP's advertisers platform check user data and bids for the ad. So it matches up the criterion like, are there X number of users available on this particular website where the empty ad space is there, and automatically this auction happens. The second most important part in this particular auction is the bids. Now the bids means how much are you willing to pay for an impression. If you win that bid, then you win that particular auction. I have made an entire video on how bidding works. I am gonna add the card up here so that you can watch that bidding video to understand bidding much in detail. But from an interview perspective, you should know SSP reached out to Ad Exchange, DSP reached out to Ad Exchange. Their purpose was different. SSP had empty ad space that the publisher actually owned. DSP wanted some empty ad space to show the ads of an advertiser. Now, whoever wins the bid, their ad is shown. The advertiser, now the last player is the advertiser. Brand wants to reach people who might be interested in their product or service. Okay. Advertiser created ad and sets budget and targets certain audiences. If the website matches up that criteria, it has same audience that the advertiser wants to advertise on. If the budget is being matched, the bids are being matched, then their ad is shown on that particular website. So the highest bidder wins the auction. If you are Nike and you are competing with Adidas, then, and if you are bidding $5 for a particular ad space, Adidas is bidding let's say $6, then you pay $5.1 as Nike and your ad is shown on that particular website in simple terms. So the winning ad is shown to the user on the website or app. Now these are the 8 steps. It's a bit complicated process, I can understand, but if you understand it completely, it's very easy. The major 3 players where the auction is happening is SSP, Ad Exchange and DSP. Just remember those. These 2 players are, of course, one would be a user who visits a website and one would be advertiser who wants to advertise. Between those 2 users, these 4 players are there. Okay, you need to understand them. Okay, let's again discuss key players and their role. A user, the person who sees the ad. Publisher, a person who owns the website or application. SSP or supply side platform where you help publishers sell their ad space. And Ad Exchange. Ad Exchange is the medium player between SSP and DSP. Ad Exchange is the marketplace where auction is happening. Now, DSP helps advertisers buy this ad space. And the last player, advertiser, the person who wants to show their ad to the right people. So, in simple words, you can take a screenshot of this particular last thing. You open a website or app, ad space is available, platform sends it to the marketplace, many advertisers compete in auction, highest bidder wins, and then you see the winning ad. And the shocking part is all this happens in less than 1 second. It's happening every moment that we are talking, that we are making this video right now. Right now, lots of auctions are happening across internet. So that's the power of programmatic advertising. Okay, question 2. This is also often asked. What is difference between Google Ads and DV360? When should you use Google Ads and when should you use DV360? So in simple terms, you can say Google Ads is a Google owned ecosystem. DV360 is a full programmatic platform. Okay, smart answer, if you want to give it in one line, it would be Google Ads has Google only inventory, whereas DV360 has full programmatic platform across 80 plus exchanges, which is majorly used by agencies. So Google Ads is Google owned inventory. DV360 has 80 plus ad exchanges across web. Google Ads can run search, YouTube and display ads, whereas DV360, as name suggests, display video 360, can run ads for display, video, OTT platforms and audio as well. Google Ads is a simple self-serve interface. DV360 is a bit advanced. It's used by advanced programmatic advertisers and media buyers because it's an advanced programmatic platform. Google Ads has basic targeting options, whereas DV360 has advanced audience and targeting options. Because bigger players are using DV360, they want to get into niche audiences. They do not want to waste their budgets, which are huge budgets for DV360. That's why bigger advertisers and major players who are concerned about their brand safety, they go with DV360 rather than Google Ads. Google Ads is best for small and medium businesses and for beginners. DV360 is best for agencies and enterprises. Now I have a question for you. You tell me in comments, what is the minimum budget required to open a DV360 account? Is it an invite only? And if not, what should be the budget spent on Google Ads in past 1 month or past 3 months that makes you eligible to open a DV360 account? Please comment down below, research on your own and comment down below. I'm waiting for your answers. Question 3. Okay, this is also very important. How would you optimize a programmatic campaign? It gives the interviewer your knowledge on programmatic campaigns. How well versed are you with programmatic campaigns? Have you actually worked on them or not? Okay, so you can give this answer something like this. I will check the campaign objective first. I'll check if it's targeting awareness, if it's targeting traffic, conversions, because the strategy differs for each KPI. Then I am gonna analyze the audience performance. I will pause the low performing segments. I will double down on the converters. This basically means I will download certain audience reports to see which audience is not performing good, which audience is not giving me good number of impressions or conversions as per my KPI, and I'll try to pause those particular audiences. And the audiences which is giving me good number of impressions or conversions in a less revenue, in like I am spending less and I'm getting good conversions, I'll increase my budget there. Then I am gonna review the ad creatives. Okay, I will check where is the low CTR or click through rate. On certain creatives there can be low CTR, like people see certain creatives and click through it, so that is a high performing asset for you. So I will test new creatives. I'll ensure format match the placements that I am targeting, they are matching with the creatives that we have. Then I am going to check the placements and sites. I will block irrelevant or low quality websites and apps. There can be website or application which are not giving good number of impressions or conversions as per my KPI, or they are yielding very high revenue, giving very low conversions. So I will block those websites. I'll put them in the blacklist. And then finally I'm gonna optimize towards bids and budget. I will shift my budgets to high return on ad spend line items. I will adjust my bid strategies to see if I am losing out on auctions. So that's how I am going to optimize a programmatic campaigns. You can use a real example. If a mobile CTR is higher, I will shift my budget more towards mobile inventory. So that's what the interviewer wants to listen to, that you have some real time or real example to give. Now the key metrics to watch while optimizing a programmatic campaign would be click-through rate, cost per acquisition, cost per click, return on ad spend. So these are the major metrics to watch for. How do you optimize for spend versus conversion versus ROAS? The interviewer goes much in detail and asks you, okay, tell me, you have a goal of using your full budget. How will you optimize? In that scenario, you can say, I will increase the bids. I will broaden up targeting because we do not want to restrict down on certain people only. Now my budget is to spend the full budget. So I will broaden up the targetings. I'll add more inventory. I'll relax the frequency caps. Frequency means how many times the ad is shown to a user. So I won't restrict down that a person can be shown ad one time in 7 days. I might increase it to 3 times in 7 days. Okay, I'll gradually relax the frequency caps. Then I'm gonna expand the geographies. If I am targeting London right now, I'll try to target nearby zip codes around London so that we can spend our full budget in nearby location also. The second optimization, if they ask you how would you optimize a conversion based campaign, where the goal is to get more leads or more sales. Okay, now the strategy entirely changes. So if they haven't given you a particular goal, you can ask them first, okay, what's the goal of the campaign I'm optimizing towards? Is it spend? Is it conversions? Is it return on ad spend? If they haven't given, you can make up a situation here and you can give answers as per your own knowledge. Like you can give them an example. If my KPI is spend, then I will do this. If my KPI is CPA or cost per acquisition, then I'll go with the conversion based strategy. Now what is conversion based strategy? I will focus high converting audiences. Because I want more conversions, I will go with the existing data of my audiences to see which were the highest converting audiences and I will focus there. I will use retargeting list to target people who have already purchased from me. I will pause the poor placements. The placements or app URL, whichever placement which is performing poorly, I am gonna pause them. Because now my goal is conversions, so I can tighten up my targeting settings. I will test different landing pages. When the goal was spend, I did exactly the opposite things if I compare it to what I did when my goal was conversions. In spend, I relaxed the frequency caps. In conversions, I tightened up the targeting. In spend, I added more inventory. In conversions, I paused the poor placements. So when the goal changes, strategy completely changes. Now let's say your goal is ROAS or return on ad spend. Now you want profitable revenue. What would you do in this particular situation? I will feed purchase or revenue data. My existing revenue data, I will use those particular floodlights. I will focus on high value users. People who have already purchased, who are high value customers, I will focus more on them because now I am in need of more profitable revenue. I will exclude low ROAS inventory. Inventory which does not gives me as per return on the ad spend as the money I spend on the ads. I will remove all that inventory. I will use value based bidding. Okay, because I will bid as per the needs of the line items. I won't just bid higher to get more impressions or bid lower to get strict down my targeting. I will use value based bidding because I am targeting on return on ad spend. And then I will optimize by doing segmentation. I will do optimizations as per different segments which are giving me higher ROAS. I will use this metric to download reports like time and day report, app URL report, inventory report to see which inventory or which app URL is giving me highest return on ad spend, and I will optimize my bids and budgets higher towards those particular segments. So optimization strategy always changes based on campaign objective. Ask your interviewer what is the goal first if you want to be clear, or make up a situation from one of these and give them the particular answer. Next question they can ask you is, what KPIs would you track for a campaign? I have dedicated an entire video on this particular topic. You can go to the Programmatic Basic series and find this particular video there. This is from the perspective of interview. So I'm going to tell you how you can, what KPIs you can track for a campaign. If it's an awareness campaign, I would track impressions. That is, what are the total number of ad views. I will track reach. What are the unique users added. I will track CPM, or cost per mil, or better known as cost per 1000 impressions. Then I can track viewability. What is the percentage of ads which was actually seen. I will track frequency. What was the average exposure per user. If my goal is traffic, I will use CTR or click-through rate, CPC or cost per click. What sessions, like website visits driven, how long the sessions were when a person visited my website. What was the bounce rate? Bounce rate means people who left quickly after visiting your website. And what was the time spent on website, which shows us the engagement quality. So that's for the traffic based campaigns. And when the goal is conversions, then the first one of course would be CPA, or cost per acquisition. One would be ROAS, what is return on ad spend. Then conversion rate, percentage that completed a particular action. Revenue, what is the total revenue generated. And lifetime customer value. So smart line to use. What KPIs would you track for a campaign would be, KPI selection depends upon campaign goal. Not all KPIs fit every campaign type. So if the campaign type is awareness, I will use these particular KPIs. If the campaign type is traffic based, I will use these particular KPIs. If the goal is conversions, I will use these KPIs. So be smart in your answers so that the person asking you questions knows that this person knows what he is doing. He is just not memorizing these particular concepts, but he is aware that the KPIs depend on the campaign goals and objectives. Question 6 can be, what are floodlight tags? Okay, the simple answer to that is tracking tags placed on websites to measure conversions from DV360 and Campaign Manager 360 campaigns. These are basically tags. How they work is, when an ad is shown to a user and a user clicks on an ad, user lands on particular website, user completes an action, be it purchase, sign up, the floodlight fires and records that particular conversion. Now, this just doesn't record the conversion, but your behavior on a website as well. For example, what was the time you spent on a particular website? What part of the website were you on? Which page of the website were you on? What product of the website were you on if it's an e-commerce or quick commerce website? So what do they track? What do these floodlight tags track? They track purchases and transactions. They track lead forms that you have filled. They track signups and registrations. And then the key website actions that you take. For example, your behavior on the website. Which part of the website were you on? How many minutes or seconds you stayed on that website? What did you click on? What did you see? Right? So without floodlight tags in CM360, you cannot measure or optimize conversions in DV360. Important topic to understand. I have made a dedicated video on this particular topic as well. If you want to see that, you can go to the Programmatic Basic series. Question number 7 would be, comparing floodlight tags and universal tag manager parameters. What's the basic difference? Okay. Now, floodlight tags are basically used by platforms like DV360 and CM360, whereas as the name suggests, these are universal tag manager parameters. They are tracked in Google Analytics because they are tracking the universally what all ads you are targeting, not just Google ads or DV360, but even Facebook ads, Reddit ads, whatever ads you run, LinkedIn ads. So floodlight tags tracks what users did after clicking, and UTM parameters tracks where the user came from. Example for floodlight tags would be, user completed a particular purchase. And for UTM parameter, example would be, this user came from Facebook ad. If a person sees a Facebook ad and clicks on that, it's tracked through UTM parameters. You can give the same example if this question is asked to you in an interview. So the data for Floodlight tags is stored in CM360 or Campaign Manager 360. The data for UTM parameter is stored in GA4 property or Google Analytics. Floodlight tags are basically used for conversion tracking and retargeting. And for UTM parameters, it's used for traffic source and attribution. Example would be for Floodlight tags, user purchased shoes after seeing DV360 ad. Whereas a UTM parameter example would be user clicked a Facebook ad and landed on our website. So one line answer to give difference would be UTMs tell us where user came from and Floodlight tell us what user did after he comes on the website. Next question would be, what would you do if a campaign is underperforming? One of the most asked questions to analysts, to account managers, that how do they actually optimize underperformance? Okay, you can give word to word answer as I'm telling you right now. You can take a pen and paper and note it down because it's very important. You will say, I will check targeting restrictions. Is it too narrow? Is brand safety blocking good inventory? I will review ad creatives after that. Is the creative approved? Is it having low CTR? And then I'll do a A/B test for these creatives. I will analyze placements and applications. I'll block the poor performing websites or app categories. Then fourth would be, I will check bid strategy. Is my bid too low? Am I not winning enough number of auctions? Number fifth step I would do would be verifying tracking tags. If my tags are placed correctly or not. Is there a broken floodlight? Are the events not firing correctly? And then I will compare device performance. Okay, I'll do a mobile versus desktop. I'll shift budget to the best device. What interviewers want to know is how logical and structured thinking you have. Walk them through your steps. Don't just guess. Okay, these are the steps I would be following if I was giving interview right now. You can follow the same. Question 9. It's almost similar to the programmatic ecosystem, but the wording has changed now. Okay, they can ask you, what do you understand by real-time bidding or RTB? So you can say RTB is an automated auction where advertisers bid for an ad impression in real time. This typically happens under 200 milliseconds. And how it happens, as I already explained in slide 1 and 2, a user opens a web page, ad request is sent to SSP, DSPs bid instantly, highest bidder wins the auction, and your ad appears on the page. In simple words, okay? All this done under 200 milliseconds. Why it matters? Because RTB is backbone of display advertising. Almost all programmatic buys use real-time bidding. Mention that RTB happens server to server in milliseconds. Interviewers love when candidates know this, that all this is happening under 1 second. Okay, they can ask you, explain first party versus third party data. So you can say, in simple terms, first party data is your own owned audience. Third party data is rented external audience. We'll discuss the first party audience first. It is brand's own or customers' own data. It comes from websites or CRM data, like from your email subscribers, people who visited your website or application. You already have purchase history of these particular customers. It has high accuracy and it's privacy safe because it's your own data. These are your own customers. And third party data, this is data that you purchase from DMPs, okay, or data management providers like Oracle. So this is data provided from external providers. It's interest based audiences because they fetch these audiences from internet. So it's a pretty large audiences, but it's interest based also. Since these data management companies are already aware, okay, these are sports lovers, they put them in particular sports audiences. So we know their interest already. We already are aware of what their demographic and behavior segments are, how they behave on internet. Are they generally interested in sports activities? So we put them in sports list, and what their demographics are, what their living locations are, right? How much do they earn? What education do they have? What are their genders? What is their age group? So we are already aware because these particular companies, DMPs like Oracle, they segment these audiences for people to purchase these audiences and show their ads. But it's a cookie based audience, so it's being phased out now because people are becoming more privacy concerned. So they prefer using first party data rather than third party data, which has been recorded through various websites. When people give accesses to different apps and websites, this data gets recorded and people are becoming more privacy concerned, advertisers too. So it's getting phased out now. And you can mention this while giving the answer that first party data is the future. Third party cookies are being phased out. Interviewers would love this, that you are already aware of how the things are working in the market. What are open exchanges, PMPs and programmatic guaranteed deals? Important question to know when we are giving interview for programmatic. We should know how we are purchasing these inventories that we are showing ads on. Okay, these are the three major types of deals that happen in programmatic. The first one is open exchange. Open exchange is open to all. As the name suggests, anyone can buy this particular inventory. It's the largest inventory pool. All advertisers can bid on it. It happens on real-time basis. RTB auction happens here. Lower CPMs as compared to other particular inventories like PMPs or PGs, and less placement control as well, because it's an open exchange. Then we do not have control. Okay, I do not want to show on this particular website or stuff like that, although we can put up our restrictions later on after getting the reports, but generally we have less placement control. It's best for scaling and reach. If you are a new advertiser, if the campaign goal is brand awareness, then I would generally go with open exchange. Okay, it's used for scaling the campaigns. Then PMP deals, it's private marketplace deals. It's a invite only for selected buyers, because the premium publisher inventory is available here. So it's again RTB, real time bidding happens here. The highest bidder wins the auction. And the higher quality placements, if we compare it to open exchange, the placement quality is pretty higher because it's premium. We have more control and transparency. Because it's premium, we have more control over it. Okay, we can select the PMP deal which has higher quality, or quality as in regards to our own advertiser. Okay, and the transparency is more as compared to open exchange because the publishers are premium. And it's best for brand safe guys. If your advertiser is more concerned about brand safety, one should opt for a PMP deal. What is a programmatic guaranteed deal? A PG deal is where fixed price is decided before buying the inventory with the fixed volume. For example, I am going to pay $5 CPM. Okay, you already have made a deal with publisher that I will be paying $5 for 1000 views on a certain OTT, let's say Netflix. That's how PG deal works. It's a direct deal. No auction is happening here. We have already decided the price before opting in for the deal. Guaranteed impressions, fixed CPM agreed upfront. Right? As I told you, a CPM is already fixed that I am gonna pay this much amount only. Highest quality inventory is available from PG deals. You have maximum control and certainty that my ads are not gonna be shown anywhere I do not want to. So maximum control you have and certainty you have. It's best for the big brand campaigns, especially those who are concerned about their brand safety, viewability, and quality inventory, and the prices. They want a guaranteed number of impressions to be promised. So that's how PG deal works. The key line to give one-liner answer would be open exchange is for scale, PMP is for premium quality, and PG is for guaranteed delivery at fixed price. Now, last question. What is brand safety and viewability? This can be often asked, especially when you're a fresher starting up as an analyst, senior analyst, account manager, trader roles in programmatic. They would ask you, what do you understand by brand safety and viewability, and what are the major differences between it? So you can simply say brand safety is ensuring your ads do not appear next to harmful or controversial content that could damage the brand's reputation. For example, appearing near fake news or misinformation, adult content, violent content, or on competitors' brand content. For example, you're Nike, okay, and your brand safety includes topics like I do not want to show my ad on topics or articles which are around Adidas or Reebok or any other competitor brand, Asics. So that's how brand safety works. Tools which ensure brand safety and third-party tools we can use are IAS, Double Verify, and then there are certain DV360 brand safety settings as well. Okay, what is viewability? Viewability is measuring whether your ad was actually seen by a user or it just loaded somewhere on the page. So how viewable your ad was and for how long. So there are certain MRC standard or industry standards which have been set to understand and to measure viewability. And when I gave my interviews 4 or 5 years back, like the first interviews that I gave for Havas, Publicis, these were the questions which were asked to me. So, and later on also from in the current company that I work, this was the question that they asked me. Do you know about the MRC standard for the video ads? So this is often asked. Memorize these particular MRC standards, or you can understand them. They're not that difficult. So basically for display, it's 50% pixels should be visible on the screen for more than 1 second. That makes a impression count. If your 50% pixels were not visible on the website screen for more than 1 second, then an impression won't even be considered an impression. Okay, in video it's 50% pixels should be visible for more than 2 seconds of the video, and the target is 70% plus viewability rate should be there. So the higher the viewability, the better the quality. Viewability can be measured by IAS, Double Verify, or Moat. These are the third-party tools. And a tip would be one should use brand safety categories plus inclusion list plus viewability thresholds in the line item settings to ensure viewability and brand safety settings. These are some bonus quick fire questions that can be asked in your interview. Okay, what is frequency capping? You can say it limits how many times a user sees the same ad in a given time. It prevents ad fatigue and wasted impressions. What is retargeting? Retargeting is showing ads to user who visited your site or application but did not convert. It uses first party audience segments. What is whitelist and blacklist? Whitelist means sites to target only, blacklist means sites to block. It's used for quality control and brand safety. What is attribution? Attribution is crediting which ad touchpoint led to a conversion. The attribution models in DV360 are last click, first click, linear, and data driven. I've made an entire video on attribution model. I'm gonna pin it up in the tags and you can see it because it's a detailed topic, but this is a one-line answer I just gave you. Then comes what is a DMP? It's a data management platform. It collects and activates first, second, and third party audience segments for targeting. What is IVT? IVT means invalid traffic, bot traffic, fraudulent clicks, which is detected and filtered out by tools like IAS and Double Verify to protect my ad spend. This can be given as a pointer in brand safety point as well if you're giving that answer. So some bonus tips for you. You should practice out your answers out loud. You can give mock interviews to Chat GPT or to a friend who is already in the industry. You should be knowing your metrics by heart. You should know what CTR, CPM, CPA, CPC, ROAS means. You should be researching about the company. What DSP do they use? What vertical are they in? What are their budgets that they generally work upon? And then read the job description very carefully. Map your experience to each requirement. Use real examples rather than just giving them bland definitions. You should tell them campaigns that you ran, decisions that you made. It will make all the difference. And then structure your answers like this. This was the problem, this was the action that I take, and this was the result that I got. It gives the interviewer more confidence in you. Okay, then learn the platform UI. Watch DV360 and the trade desk tutorials. Few are available on my own page, so you can go ahead and watch them if you are just starting up. And then show a learning attitude. Always be ready to learn more because in AI times we are all like I'm also still learning. I'm taking many classes. I'm on weekends I take new courses, right? So always show a learning attitude. Curiosity impresses more than perfection. Interviewers check communication, logical thinking, core concepts, confidence, and your learning attitude. That's all about today. So you're interview ready now. Be confident. Best of luck to all of you for your interviews. And you can bookmark this particular video for your next interviews as well. And if one of your friends is applying for programmatic roles, you can share this video with them. You can practice these 12 questions. You can land that dream job. It is definitely possible no matter what. And do not hesitate to like this video, subscribe, click on all after clicking the bell button so that you are notified when I drop another video on programmatic. And you can comment down your questions if you have any, if you have some suggestions for me. So this was Programmatic Advertising Simplified. Thank you so much for watching it till the end. Have a great day ahead and best of luck for your interview. Bye bye.